Yeah, what's going on, fam? It's your man VACAY-JTV, and yes, I'm back with another video. And yes, this is for episode 10, the season finale for Power Book 4 Force. And yes, family, I'm just gonna say it right now. There was some ups and downs, some lot of twists, but all in all, this was a good episode. It wasn't the episode that everybody was expecting. A lot of things happened in this episode that some people were satisfied with and some people weren't. So, Tommy in the beginning was starting off, and just so you know, looking at the entire season, right? This is a totally different Tommy than who we knew before. This is a more evolved Tommy. And with being evolved, Tommy is at this point where this war is about to happen and he's reaching out to Vic, right, to ask him, is he sure that he wants to definitely go through with this whole war thing? And of course, Vic's direction of anger is going towards Tommy when it needs to go towards the person that put the hit out on Glow, right? For those who have seen the episode, you know who that is, right? And Tommy absolutely is making deals with the devil, right? Like, we know that Milkovich is a twisted guy and he'll do anything for money. And yeah, Tommy gave him $2 million. And I feel like Tommy should have got more. Like, seriously, Tommy should have got more for $2 million. Yeah, $2 million, and now you only ask for two guys with a couple of straps. Like, seriously, like for $2 million, like you could have found anybody. But you chose to go to the Serbians to get two guys who are okay assassins, right? They're okay. Like, you're a way better assassin. Like, all he needed was probably more straps for himself. But of course, he needs more eyes and more men, or whatever the case is. So, Tommy lets Milkovich know in another life they could have been friends, or whatever the case is. This whole relationship between Adrian and Diamond, definitely different. I mean, she obviously is feeling your boy. And yeah, he's in his feelings about what he heard about Jennard trying to take him out, talking to Blackston in the basement in that last episode, episode 9. And I mean, I can understand that. It's only right that he feels the way he feels because, that's his blood brother, and he never thought that this would happen. The scene right here looks like, he was about to let her go. Like, listen, there's a lot going on. And, she gives him a kiss to let him know that she's going to be there right by his side. And she asks him, hey, is this about the guy that you're talking about, this person that you can't trust? And then to me, this is like the stupidest hit to have ever been in Power because, yeah, of course, Jennard doesn't know that Diamond knows that Jennard was talking a whole bunch of trash about taking Diamond out. But why would you call your brother on some like, yeah, where you at? Because, I need to parlay with you or whatever the case is, right? Like, do you call him on a regular like that? Like, don't you just go to the shop to see your brother? Like, why don't you just sit outside of the shop? Why would you call him? It was kind of like giving him a heads up. And of course, Diamond's from the streets, knowing what he knows. Jennard doesn't know, but knowing what he knows, he takes Adrian, jumps in the car, and about to skate off. But of course, he's waiting to see who's gonna come for him. She's, real nervous, of course. But come on, you know who you was messing around with, right? He's like a gangster dude. He's a leader of a crime organization, right? So you know what you're getting into. So Diamond sees Blackston and his boys, his CBI goons, roll up and breaks the door to get into the shop with straps. And yeah, Blackston missed the mark. You know what I'm saying? He missed the mark because Jennard pretty much kind of gave him the heads up. But these guys, that was the stupidest hit right there to me. You guys drop your thoughts on that. Like, seriously, like, he pretty much just gave him the heads up. Like, yeah, I need to come see you and parlay with you. Come on, Jennard, you're the worst, right? So they skate off, and then we see these guys right here again. I'm being very objective here. I'm being very like transparent here. I mean, these guys are supposed to be assassins from Dublin, right? Yeah, they're having a drink at Dr. Parker's and everything else like that. Glow is gone. And they're drinking to what? What are you drinking to? Like, oh, because it's time to go out and have some fun. We came to America to get this guy, Tommy Egan, and he's talking, the leader of the Four Horsemen, he's talking to Vic about his dad and how, yeah, they got diminishing profits coming in and his dad is not the man that he used to be. And of course, Vic is going to stand up for his father. Like, don't talk trash about my dad. But this guy right here is supposed to be one of the Four Horsemen. Real sloppy. He comes to America trying to get with an American girl. I get it. But you real sloppy, you drinking and now you going out. And pretty much this was a setup. I kind of felt that it was a setup because it was kind of like pointing the camera directly at him. And yeah, it was a setup. Tommy comes out of nowhere, gets this guy, takes him out. This is the guy that we all been seeing in the promos as far as who Tommy is strangling. Everybody was like, yeah, it's Claudia or it's Walter. It's none of them. It's this one of the Four Horsemen, random dude. And the Serbians are there with Tommy, and Tommy's like, hey, make an example, send a signal. So they hang him upside down like he's a bat, like he's a bat in Batman. And then Tommy messages your girl, Claudia, on some like, yo, I need some more Dahlia. Are we in like Flynn? I see these lines. Are you in like Flynn or do we have beef? She's like, yeah, meet me at the lab. And these guys, man, like, they are so, I don't know. It's like they're not into it. They're not there. Mentally, they're not there. And of course, Claudia's trying to tell Da, and he's like, hush. He's like, hush, because he's like, yeah, I'm going to lead this. Like, all of a sudden, now you're going to lead it before you gave it to Vic. And now, oh, you guys were in the bar getting drunk. You were in the bar, too. Like, come on, man. So now we see JP and your boy D-Mac, right? Darnell. Darnell wakes up and he sees his dad. And I wanted to know what the reaction was going to be. And it's the same reaction that I thought, that he wasn't going to be like, oh, daddy. No, he's like, man, you just a fake dude. And JP's apologizing, man, I should have tried harder to find you and everything else like that, but I'm here now. He's like, am I going to die? He's like, nah, you're not going to die. You're going to be okay. Now, Tommy coming through with the Cubs shirt and some supplies, I kind of understood why he did that because, JP felt some type of way. JP felt like, yo, you found out where my son was. I've been looking for my son all this time. You know that. And, now it's like, what you going to do? You should have told me a long time ago. But again, like I said, JP's going to get over it real quick because he really wants to know who tried to, shoot his son, who tried to get at him, who shot his son, right? Who did it? So Tommy's on some like, yo, he's my nephew. I got you. I got a bald-headed Serbian dude outside. He's going to protect him and everything else like that. And yeah, your boy JP's like, listen, there's medical records at the house. I need you to go back to the house and get it. And, that's the last thing that's on Tommy's mind. But he's like, I'm going to go do it. I'm going to go take care of it. Because before he's like, I'm kind of busy. And JP's like, I'm busy too taking care of my son. Can you do this? He's like, all right. So he's going to go back to the house. This man right here, Jennard, is scared because he's calling Blackston, right? To see if Blackston made the hit on Diamond. Nope, he didn't, because you pretty much tipped off your brother. And yeah, I wanted to find out, really, honestly, how did Diamond capture Blackston, right? I mean, yeah, it's just obvious that these guys are real, like, they're not professional. They're real sloppy, right? So Blackston got caught up, beating down Blackston, like, who sent you? And Blackston's like, yo, your brother sent me. He's like, yeah, I just need to hear it. And then Blackston want to talk trash. Like, yeah, you came out and you were weak and everything else like that. We need to take over CBI and your brother's better. What you think Diamond going to do? Right, Diamond is going to blast. Ain't going to take him out with the strap. Like, why you going to talk junk? But rest in peace, Blackston, bro. Rest in peace. And like I said, shouldn't have been running with Jennard because Elijah, he's gone too. So now Tommy goes to the house. to get the documents. And who does he see ripping up the house? Kate is in the house. And to me, like, this was like the funniest dialogue. He's like, Ma, what are you doing here? you know, even though they're Irish, it's like they got a whole Italian feel to me. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? She's like, I'm here to see my son and yeah, yeah, I'm here tearing up the house because there's thousands of dollars in the house. She hid thousands of dollars, so she's trying to rob her mother. He's like, how you trying to rob your mom? She's like, you can't rob the dead. And she started smoking in the house, and you know, this is a funny dialogue. He's like, why are you smoking in the house? She's like, your grandmother smoked in the house for years. He's like, give me your smoke, right? So they start smoking together, talking, and she's like, yeah, I'm here to see my son, and he's like, yeah, well, he's at the hospital with his son. She's like, oh, I have a grandson? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, man, I gave up hope on you. And he's like, get out of here. Nobody wants you here. And he tries to give her some money. And she's like, come on, what's wrong? What's going on? I want to see my grandson. Can I see my grandson? Of course, he's getting calls because this war is going on. This is the wrong time for her to be coming. But he's like, all right, I'll introduce you. Dang, I'll introduce you. He really doesn't want to. So Walter, Vic, and these guys are trying to figure out, how to get Tommy and everything else like that, right? Tommy already took out one of the four horsemen. There's only three left, right? There's only three left. And this guy right here, man, they have no idea of what they're doing, right? So what does Claude do? She comes out of nowhere and says, well, Tommy's behind the Dahlia, and I found out from somebody in the club that, yeah, they know where the lab is, and I got the address. Wow. Again, Claudia with the lying and the deception, like she's not behind it, like she's not working with Tommy. I mean, she is definitely a slithering snake for real, you know what I'm saying? But she wants to give input. And Vic is like, yo, we need to plan. We need to, we don't need to strike the lab. We need to plan this out. But your boy Walter just wants Tommy gone because Tommy knows that, yeah, Walter put that hit out on Glow. And Tommy, if he exposes it to, his son, Vic, and Claude, then all of this is like, yo, it's all your fault, Walter, right? Because you're the freaking goon. You're the man behind all this crazy stuff, right? So here we see Jennard coming back to his crib. And Diamond, man, I tell you, he's doing like OG moves. Like, this is an OG power move. Like, took Blackston's body and put it right on Jennard's dinner table. Like, yeah, this is who you sent? You sent this cat to see me? Nah, you remember who I am. I'm your brother. I'm Diamond, right? Leader of CBI, period. So, yeah, they go to the lab, right? Tommy and the two Serbs. Like, that's your army, bro? I feel like there should have been more people, man. But, yeah, it's just Tommy and two of these guys, with straps. Vic and, the rest of the horsemen or whatever go to the lab. And it was a setup, right? Like, we knew this. Tommy set up Claude to tell them, hey, Tommy's going to be at the lab. He knew that she was going to tip them off, right? So now they come. Tommy and them is waiting for him, and they're spraying anybody that comes through. And yeah, Vic wants to go after him, wants to be the one, and wants to be whatever, but they're like, yo, let's get up out of there. So, Walter had the leader of the four horsemen, save or make sure that Vic wasn't going to be shot. And Walter, he's like, you can't take out this one guy, man. Like, I call you the four horsemen. You can't take out this one guy. Like, I took out, like, whole squads of people, but you guys can't take out this one guy, all right? So Tommy messages Claude and messages Vic, like, it's 3-0. 3-0. You only got one horseman left. I mean, this is classic Tommy, though. This is what I love is classic Tommy. And, yeah, like, they both get a text. And Vic is on some like, yo, like, what's going on with that? Was that good information? Like, how did you really get that information that he was going to be at the lab? So he's picking up that she's lying. He's picking that up. But of course, she backs up her lie with a lie. Once you start lying, you got to keep lying in order to cover the lies so you don't get caught up out of there, right? So, yeah, of course, we see the scientists, Liliana, they move all the lab materials that they need, so the scientists can keep working. Of course, Tommy comes through. Liliana got the strap like, yo, you scared us. And he's like, all right, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of dirty in here, da. So Tommy's like, yo, it's cool, relax. You know what I'm saying? You can get to work in a minute, just relax. And Tommy's just, again, trying to figure things out. But he's letting Liliana know that this is a war going on, so strap up, because we're going to need every hand on deck, every man and woman on deck to get ready to strike. And he figures out that, yeah, it might have been CBI that made that hit against him, but he wants to find out, how. How did CBI know to strike against Tommy and D-Mac at that particular point? So he leaves. He's like, yo, just get strapped up. Liliana has this idea to say, you know what? I've seen Tommy like this before. And if you're of no use to him, he's going to get rid of you. How is the scientist not of use to Tommy when they're producing the Dahlia Liliana? I think Liliana kind of lost it. She kind of went into like war mode. And she's like, listen, I'm a soldier, JP's family. So, basically you're not family, so you need to leave. No, she's the scientist, Liliana. That's where you made a big mistake. Why would you get rid of the scientist that is producing the Dahlia, that is producing all the money? No, you hide her out somewhere, right? Keep her there in the lab. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, we go to the scene where Claude is talking to the leader of the four horsemen, and he's like, listen, you're not telling me everything. My brothers didn't have to die. What are they dying for? Like, what is all this for? Like, Tommy, he is a formidable enemy. So what are they dying for? So she introduces him to the Dahlia. She doesn't give him a kiss with the Dahlia. She just gives him like the sample. And she's like, yeah, I know we have diminishing profit, but this is the future. And listen, and she tries to cut him in on a deal. Like, listen, you get me in front of, the Irish councilman or whatever, and I'll make sure Dahlia goes through you to all of Europe, right? So she is always trying to make a deal with this Dahlia, man. She's so shady. And this is what he says, which is true. He's like, yeah, you're a flower, but there's a serpent underneath that flower, right? So he hits it right on the nail. And then, of course, because he has Dahlia, he tries to come on to her, but she's like, you're not my type. Listen, let's just make the deal. I know how we can get at Tommy. So they go to pick up the scientist because they find out somehow, again, this is the plot hole. How do they find out that the scientist is leaving town? So they go to be like a car to pick her up, right? Like an Uber or whatever, a limo. And Claudia's in the car like, hey, Doc, where you going? And she's like, I don't want to die. And she's like, you're not going to die. Just tell me how to get to Tommy. Tell me Tommy's weak points, because she knows that they've been working with Tommy. They've all been working with Tommy. I mean, you can see the evil in her eyes. I mean, she's definitely evil, right? Claudia, she's evil. I did a whole video on it. Check it out. But yeah, the scientist is definitely going to give up the information because she does not want to die. She just wants to get out of town with the money that Liliana gave her. So now we have Kate, Tommy, and Tommy brings Kate to the hospital. And this was a touching moment. I'll give it up. This was definitely a touching moment where Kate finally meets her son that she abandoned, right, a long time ago at the age of 3. And she's smiling at him. She wants to see him and the grandson. He's like, oh, what are you doing here? I want to see you and my grandson. And, JP hugs her, because he actually forgave her, as he said, and he always wanted to meet her. So he's looking at Tommy like, thank you for bringing her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I finally wanted to meet my mother. And she hugs him back. She's like, oh, okay, we're doing that. Kate is funny. But Tommy, man, I mean, he actually feels what's going on. He's like, okay, this was supposed to happen. And she says to him, this is what she says. She says, that's how you're supposed to greet your mother, And Tommy's like, yeah, I get it. And JP is really happy to see his mom. And I'm happy for JP because, again, he's been striving to find her, talk to her, just get some questions answered. But she wants to see D-Mac. She wants to see Darnell. So Darnell wakes up, and Tommy's like, listen, I need to talk to him first. You don't even know him. You didn't even know he existed. Go and talk to JP, and you have some answers. You have some questions to be answered, right? Like JP needs to know why you left him in the whole nine. Go talk to him. So Tommy's like, hey, what's going on, Skinny? You all right? He's like, yeah. And he starts asking him he asks him a mathematical question, which was cool. And he gives him the answer, and Tommy's like, yeah, that sounds right to me. So Tommy proceeds to ask him, like, yo, who else would know where the stash house was? Because that's where they would have followed us to find out where we were to shoot at us. He's like, probably Marshall. And he's like, how did Marshall know? He's like, well, Jennard, originally paid me to follow you. So, Marshall came with me one time and all this and that. So he's like, okay, it's probably CBI. So D-Mac is like, yo, who is that old white-ish outside? Oh, that's your grandmother. He's like, by the way, she likes to be called a white bish, right? So that was a funny part. So Tommy's like, listen, I got to go. JP's like, listen, I got to go back to the house to get these medical documents. And he's like, yo, can you look after Darnell? She's like, sure. So she's like, hey. He's like, hey, what's up? So the family is coming together, under crazy circumstances, but it's all good, right? So now we got this shiesty, sneaky, sugar booger dude, right, Jennard, and he's going to talk to Milkovich. And they're talking. I'm like, how is this happening? Like, seriously. And, like, how is this happening that Milkovich, again, help me make it make sense. Milkovich knows that, yeah, they took over the pipeline, right? They took their men out, took over the pipeline. Yeah, Jennard is like, that wasn't me. That was my brother and Tommy and all this and that. And he's like, yo, so what are we doing? What are you doing here? He's like, well, listen, if I talk to the Flynns and we create a truce, then I'll give you back the pipeline and everything else like that. And he's like, well, what does your brother think about this? He's like, listen, I got it under control. My brother's not going to think anything of it and whatever, right? So he figures out that, yeah, he probably try to make a hit on Diamond as well. He's like, listen, you make this happen, cool, go talk to the Flynns. If not, then I'm going to have to take you out. So we see Jennard mixing in with everybody that he had beef with, right? Everybody that CBI had beef with, Tommy had beef with, but he's the guy talking and sitting down with Milkovich, and now he's sitting down with Walter. Vic has a problem with it because Vic knows that he's a shiesty dude. Vic knows that Jennard is just like a terrible guy. But Walter's like, yeah, you must be scared to be here. And Jennard's like, yeah, you must be scared to take this meeting. So he's like, listen, man, I'll create a truce between you and the Serbians because you guys are going to continue to go back and forth. It's never going to stop. But if you stop going after Serbians, then we can go after Tommy, right? And if my brother gets in the way, then you could take out my brother. He's trying to get the Flynns to take out Diamond, right? This guy, Jennard, is one of the most shiestiest dudes, and I feel like he should have went in this episode, but we find out that he doesn't go. We find out that he's not taken out. And Vic is like, nah, I'm not with it, but Walter agrees. Walter's like, Jennard's right. The war's going to continue to go on. Our enemy is Tommy, so we're going to go after Tommy. Vic is not with it. Vic is like, yo, this is not the right time for all of this to be happening. So your boy Tommy goes to see Diamond, right? And Diamond is not at the shop anymore. He's at the diner. He got a whole bodyguard, frisking Tommy to make sure, nobody comes in there to try to get Diamond. And yeah, Diamond should have that. Diamond should have that extra security because, yeah, he doesn't know who to trust now. You know what I'm saying? So they figure out that, yeah, Jennard made a deal with the Serbians and that the Serbians did not return to Tommy's call. So they come together once again to join forces. So now JP goes to the house. He's looking for the documents. He sees a picture of JP himself and D-Mac. And then somebody comes to get your boy JP, right? He drops the picture and there's a noise. Yeah, they coming to get him. Okay, did I expect this? Nah, not really. Not really. So now we see your girl, Liliana. And he's like, yo, where's the scientist? He's like, I let her go. He's like, why did you let her go? He's like, well, you were saying to strap up and everything in this war. again, was that a good idea, Liliana? No. What are you doing? Why are you sending the person that can create the Dahlia and keep this thing going? He's like, you know what? Probably Claude has her at this point, right? So Claude calls Tommy, and it's like, yeah, well, we got your brother now, and we got the scientist, and it's your life for his life. Give up your life, and we'll let him go. And Tommy's like, yo, get out of here, you little girl. Like, he's talking wild trash. Like, and you got Walter, Vic, and Jennard there. And Jennard's talking trash. Vic is talking trash. Like, see, I brought all of y'all together. And Tommy's like, yo, how many times I got to take out your countrymen for you to realize that you need to stop this, Walter? Like, he's talking to Walter like, yo, Walter, you know the truth. Just tell the truth, right? And it doesn't come down to that. And it's like, yo, Tommy's like, you got my brother now? You got my brother involved? You didn't have to bring my brother, right? So, of course, Tommy's going to do his thing. And Liliana's like, yo, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm going to back you up. So we see both of these snakes, right? All the snakes in the grass, they're all in one place. Walter, Claude, we see Jennard, and I won't call Vic a snake, right? He's just misguided. So JP actually does approach Jennard on some like, yo, you put the hit out on Tommy, which put the hit and shot my son. But of course, he doesn't get a chance to really confront him like that. So here we go. Here goes the two snakes in the grass. We got Jennard and Claude. And Claude is asking questions. She's like, listen, you know, did Tommy really put the hit out on, you know, Glow like that? And Jennard is just being transparent and real. He's like, yo, when I talked to Milkovich, you know, it didn't seem like Tommy was the one. I don't think Tommy would be behind this. You know, he's like, yo, Tommy, my brother, and Vic, if anything, would have been running together. But now it's like you got the Serbians. So, you know, Jennard is being transparent. And he's like, yo, I don't think Tommy was behind any, you know, hit on Vic or Gloria. You know what I'm saying? It had to be somebody else, right? Like, why would Tommy do it? So she's thinking about it. And I think she's putting two and two together. So now we got Tommy, and he's talking with Diamond, and they're trying to figure out what to do. Because they're like, listen, if Tommy is not there, they're eventually going to take out JP, right? So they're trying to figure out a way, and this place that they're going to, yeah, pretty much if there's any shootings going on, nobody's going to hear outside of that particular area. So now I see Walter, you know, we see Walter and the family, but we don't see a lot of people with them, right? So here's what they do, right? They come up with a plan. We're going to give them what they want. So Diamond comes out, has, you know, Tommy and holding Tommy at gunpoint, a strap point, whatever. And yeah, it's like, all right, I found him trying to get away. And yeah, we need to make a deal because, you know, I got Tommy right here. But then Diamond goes into telling the truth. And he's like, yeah, my own brother tried to take me out and he tried to take over. So now the CBI goons is looking at Jennard like, yo, you try to take over? Like, take over for real? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, seriously. And then it gets to the point where one of the CBI guys is about to hit Jennard. Jennard takes him out. And here we go with the straps. The straps start flying. You know, the rounds start flying. And yeah, there's a whole lot of action. So as I predicted, yes, it's going to be, they're going to attack them from the front. But here comes Liliana from the back getting at him. Jennard runs away. Diamond catches him, right? And he looks like he's about to shoot Jennard. And Jennard's like, just do it. You want to be on top, right? Just do it. Meanwhile, Vic goes after Tommy because his gun jammed. And Tommy and Vic are now fighting. And Vic is getting the better of Tommy for a little bit. And then your girl, Claude, sees Liliana coming around. And she's like, oh, dang, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to shoot her. So yeah, Diamond shoots at Jennard, but he doesn't shoot him in the head. He shoots past him. He's like, listen, here's the deal. I'm going to have my territory. You're going to have your territory. Whoever wants to come with me, let them come with me. Don't try to stop them. We're separating this thing, and we're never going to be, like, on good terms again because you tried to kill me, right? So Liliana comes from the back, and Claude shoots her. Now we see Liliana on the ground. No, not Liliana, right? So Tommy gets the drop on Vic. Walter takes out JP, has a knife to his neck, and they're like, yo, Tommy's like, tell the truth, Walter. Tell the truth, Walter. You were the one that put the hit out on Gloria. And Vic is like, no, that's not true. No, that's not true. Yeah, it's true. He's like, sorry, man, I had to tell you the truth. Meanwhile, our girl Liliana is dying over there. She's like, Tommy. I'm like, man, how you gonna let her die like this? And y'all talking, man. Forget all the talking. Get an ambulance. Claude comes out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, Tommy's right. He wouldn't put a hit out on Gloria. He did try to help you. And yeah, Die, tell the truth. Die, tell the truth, man. Just tell the truth. He's like, no, you're lying, Tommy. And then Vic is like, you know what? He finally comes to his senses on some like, you know what? You did hate Glow and you didn't want her to be in my life. So yeah, you would be the one to try to put her head out, right? You would be the one. So Vic finally realizes that it was his father, right? So he's like, let him go. He's like, I'll let him go when you let JP go. So they let JP go. You know, Claudia goes over to Vic on some like, you okay? He's like, get off me. Of course, they run over to Liliana. It's like, Liliana, hang in there, hang in there. At the same time, Vic goes over to Walter and looks like he's about to cut him with his own knife. But Walter's like, man, I know you mad at me, but you don't got the heart to do anything. You know what I mean? And Vic is like, you know what? You're right. I'm not you. I'm not you. I'm not evil like you, where I just kill everybody. And our girl Liliana, boy, man, she's dying. And of course, Tommy's like, yo, whoever did this, I'm coming after them. Claudia's like, listen, we can work things out. He's like, no, we can't. There's no we. And she's like, yeah, I better get prepared. He's like, yeah, you better get prepared because I'm going to come after you. Meanwhile, Liliana is dying. And man, like, JP standing there, Diamond standing there. You know, Tommy's holding her, man. Like our girl, Liliana, boy, the real ride or die soldier. She is passing. And a lot of you guys I know, I feel you. Like, why did Liliana have to be shot? Out of everybody, it should have been the ones that we hate, right? It should have been Jennard, right? Or Claudia, right? But no, you had to hit Liliana, right? Yeah, she's been making mistakes here and there, but she's a ride or die soldier, man. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace to Liliana. I know a lot of you guys are upset with this. I am too. So now we shoot over to the FBI. They're talking about, you know, everything that happened with the Four Horsemen, how they came in, and how they're trying to figure out who this new guy is that is on the scene that they don't know, saying that he doesn't have ties to anybody or family or anything else like that. And they show, you know, the chief of the FBI a picture, and they're like, yo, he's like a ghost. Of course, they're talking about Tommy. Are they trying to say that Tommy is the new ghost? Because this is the second time, right? In the first episode, they talked about Tommy, and he's like, yo, he was like a ghost. This is the last episode, and it's saying the same thing, that Tommy's like the ghost. Is Tommy the new ghost, though? You know what I'm saying? They're trying to insinuate to that. So now we see Sullivan talking to, you know, one of the people in New York. They're back in New York now. And we got that detective, you know, and she's trying to follow up on what's going on with the guys and heard about the activity that's going on in Chicago. He's like, yo, let the Chicago people do it. We need you here. But of course, we're going to see more of her probably in season 2, going to Chicago and finding Tommy and all this and that. So we already know where that's going, right? And she's going to be chasing after Tariq. So now we see JP, Tommy, Diamond, and they're pouring one out for Liliana. And they saying, yo, this is for family. We're going to stick together. And this is for Liliana. You know, they pouring one out for her, man. You know, salute to Liliana. Rest in peace, Liliana, for real. At the same time, Walter, he's pouring a couple out. He's pouring the whole bottle out because, yeah, he just lost his family. He just lost his brother. He just lost his son and lost his daughter because he lied, right? All of that lying. And, yeah, this is a whole separation now, right? Jennard, he's leaving now, and he's going to get his property. And we see Diamond circling the property that he agreed to have. And Diamond's like, yo, it's small. And Tommy's like, yo, but it's yours, though. It's yours. It's your area. And, you know, Diamond's on some like, listen, I don't want to mess with that Dahlia. And Tommy's like, yo, I'm not messing with the Dahlia either. But guess what? I want the whole map. I still want all of Chicago. So Tommy's going to figure out in season 2 how he's going to take over again, Chicago, the whole Chicago without Dahlia. How is that going to happen, right? Man, so again, that was the recap for episode 10, the season finale. Family, tell me. I know you guys probably have mixed feelings about this. I kind of have mixed feelings about it too. Should Liliana have gone? Should have been someone else? Who knows, right? I say no because she was a solid soldier. But family, drop your thoughts, your theories. I appreciate you all for watching. Again, if you're new to this channel, definitely hit that subscribe button and everything. Definitely like, comment below. And definitely do me a favor and smash that like button. I appreciate you all for watching. And if you thought this video was crazy, definitely watch this next one. Salute.